Hello everyone, I am Sarishul Fikar and today I am going to solve the past papers of ICATS English Linguistics Contest for year 2026, grade 7 and 8. Read the following poem and answer the below given questions 1 through 6. Cartography of a memory. Cartography is the art and science of making maps. It involves drawing, designing and studying maps of places, whether of the earth, the stars, oceans or even imaginary worlds. I hold the map of a forgotten street drawn in the ink of fading light, where whispers of laughter scuff the concrete and shadows hold the scent of night. The compass spins the frantic hand to fix a point that will not hold, a tree now dust where we would stand, a story that grew tired and old. I trace the route we never took, the turning marked by might have been and find, by closing up the book, the landscape that my heart still screams. So the speaker is remembering a place from a long ago, almost like an old map drawn in fading light. He thinks about happy sounds that are now gone and paths he has never taken. Even when he tries to stop thinking about it, his heart keeps reminding or replaying those memories. So let's look at the questions now. Question number 1. The primary extended metaphor in the poem is option A, a memory compared to a scientific experiment. Option B, a memory compared to a physical map or landscape. Option C, a memory compared to a raging storm. Option D, a memory compared to a living person. So, a metaphor is a way of explaining something by comparing it to something else without using like or as. So, in this poem, the whole poem compares a memory to a physical map or landscape because the words like map, compass, route, and landscapes are used. So, that shows the speaker is navigating his past as if he is reading an old personal atlas. So, we will select option B here. A memory compared to a physical map or landscape is the extended metaphor. Question number 2. What is the most likely meaning of the ink of fading light? Option A. The memory is becoming less clear and distinct over time. Option B. The memory was written down at sunset. Option C. The speaker is afraid of the dark. Option D is the memory is a very happy one. So here the ink of fading light means the memory that is becoming less clear or distinct over time. Just like ink fades, the details of the memory are slowly disappearing and growing dimmer in the speaker's mind. So we will select option A here. The memory is becoming less clear and distinct over time. Question number 3. The line "the compass spins a frantic hand" suggests that the speaker, option A is an expert navigator, option B is it's confidently following the memory, option C is struggling to pinpoint a stable or certain point in the memory, option D is has found true north in his life. So the line "the compass spins a frantic hand" suggests that the speaker is struggling to find a stable or certain point in the memory. It shows a feeling of being lost or unsure when he is trying to hold on to something in the past. We'll select option C here. The meaning is struggling to pinpoint a stable or certain point in the memory. Question number 4. What is the effect of the speaker tracing the route we never took? Option A, it shows the speaker's satisfaction with past decisions. Option B, it highlights a sense of regret or contemplation over missed opportunities. Option C, it proves the map is factually inaccurate. Option D, it indicates the speaker's desire to travel to a new place. So, the tracing the route we never took highlights a sense of regret or contemplation over missed opportunities because it shows the speaker is wondering about what could have been happened if different choices had been made. So that's why we will select option B out of the given options. Question number 5. The phrase "the landscape that my heart still screens" implies that the memory is option A, permanently erased and lost. Option B, objectively recorded like a film. Option C, actively projected and relived within the speaker's emotions. Option D, a geographical location the speaker can visit. So the phrase the landscape that my heart still screen implies the memory is actively projected and relived within the speaker's emotions because it's like an inner movie that speaker's heart keep on playing even if it's not real anymore, but he is just memorizing the things, or he is just focusing on the sounds which do not exist anymore. Question number 6. The overall tone of the poem can best be described as triumphant and joyful. Option B, bitter and angry. Option C, humorous and light-hearted. Option C is wistful and contemplative. So the speaker isn't angry or celebrating, he is simply just remembering the words like fading light, might have beens, and heart still screens. It gives a soft, reflective feeling, like gently looking back at old photos. So the tone is wistful. Wistful means a little longing, and contemplative, which is thoughtful. So we'll select option D here. Read the following story and answer the below given questions 7 through 14. The Watchman's Secret. Old Man Hemlock's shop was a cave of arrested time. Clocks of every conceivable design, conceivable means imagined, covered the walls, their pendulum swinging in the discordant symphony of ticks and talks. Discordant mean clashing or not harmonious. He was a weary man. Weary means thin but strong. His fingers stained with ink and oil, his movements as precise as the mechanisms he adored. He spoke rarely, believing that words like unnecessary gears only complicated a system. I was his apprentice, a role I would earned not through passion but through proximity. My family lived above the shop. My task was menial. Menial means very minor. Sweeping brass shavings, sorting screws, and winding the simpler timepieces. I performed these duties with the sullen resentment of youth, seeing only dust and drudgery. Sullen means gloomy, and drudgery means hard or boring work. One afternoon, a flustered woman burst in, clutching an ornate, silent pocket watch. Flustered means nervous, and ornate means highly decorative. My grandfather's, she explained, her voice tight with emotion. It has been ticked in years. It's all I have left of him. Hamlet took the watch not with reverence, reverence means deep respect, but with the cool assessment of surgeon. He held it to his ears, his eyes closed. He didn't open it. After a moment, he handed it back. It works perfectly, he stated flatly. The woman was incredulous. Incredulous means unwilling to believe. But it's silent, the hands don't move. The mechanism is sound, Hamlock insisted, his tone leaving no room for argument. Dejected, the woman left, clutching the dead watch. Dejected means sad or discouraged. Confused and emboldened by what I saw as sheer obstinacy, I confronted him. How can you say it works? It was clearly broken. Hamlock fixed his pale eyes on me. You sweep the floor, boy, but you do not see. He said, that watch is a quarter repeater. It does not show the time, it chimes it. The owner must press the stem to hear the hours and quarters struck. Its silence was not a failure of its function, but a failure of her understanding. She expected a visual when its truth was auditory. In that moment, the dusty shop seemed to shift. I was no longer just sweeping floors, I was in the library of silent stories. Each clock, a heart waiting for the right key to make it speak. I had mistaken his silence for emptiness and his precision for coldness. I finally understood the deepest mechanisms are often hidden, and truth is not always what is immediately seen. So, in this story, a young apprentice works for an old man Hamlock and a quiet watchmaker, and only sees boring chores in the dusty clock shop. One day, a woman brings a pocket watch that seems broken because it's silent and doesn't show the time. Hamlock insisted it works perfectly without even opening it. So, when the apprentice questions him, Hamlock explains that the watch is quarter repeater, so it chimes the time instead of showing it. But you have to press the button to hear it. So the woman just didn't know how it worked. So the apprentice suddenly realized that the things or the people often have hidden functions and deeper truths. You have to look beyond the surface to understand them. So the shop, once again noisy and dull, now feels full of silent stories and hidden meaning to apprentice. Question number 7. What is the primary function of the opening sentence? Old Man Hemlock's shop was a cave of arrested time. Option A is to establish the shop as a dark and frightening place. Option B to introduce the literal business of selling antique items. Option C to use a metaphor that sets the theme for a place where time is preserved and studied. Option D to explain why the narrator found the job so boring. That the first line isn't just describing the spooky or boring shop, it's calling it a cave of arrested time, which is a poetic way of saying that this is a place where time feels held still, like in a museum or a memory box. It sets up the whole idea that in this shop, clocks aren't just telling time, they are keeping stories as well. So that's why we'll select option C here to use a metaphor that sets the theme for a place where time is preserved and studied. Question number 8. The narrator's initial perception of his apprenticeship is best described as option A, awe inspired and eager to learn, option B, respectful and lacking deeper understanding, option C, financially motivated and strategic, option D, a temporary distraction from his study. So at first, the narrator saw his apprenticeship as boring and pointless, just sweeping floors and doing dull tasks. He felt resentful and didn't understand the meaning behind Hemlock's quiet work. So we'll select option B here. Question number 9. Why does Hemlock not open the woman's pocket watch to inspect it? Option A. He lacks the proper tools for such a delicate mechanism. Option B. He is being lazy and does not want to do the work. Option C. He already knows through experience and listening that the problem is one of operations, not mechanics. Option D. The watch is sealed shut and cannot be opened. So the Hamlet doesn't open it because he already understands just by listening that it works perfectly, because he realizes the woman didn't know how to use it. It wasn't broken, but she just didn't know its secret function. So option C is the correct option here. Question number 10. What does the pocket watch primarily symbolize in the story? Option A. The inevitable decay of all material things. Option B. A misunderstanding that arises from miscommunication. Option C. The value of expensive and ornate objects. Option D. The narrator's desire for a valuable inheritance. The pocket watch symbolizes a misunderstanding that comes from not looking deeper. It wasn't broken, the woman just didn't know its hidden way of working. So, much like the narrator didn't understand Hemlock or the shop at first. So, option B will be the suitable option here, a misunderstanding that arises from miscommunication. Question number 11. Hemlock's statement, you sweep the floor, boy, but you do not see, suggests that option A, the narrator performs tasks without understanding their context or the deeper realities around him. Option B, the narrator is physically blind and unfit for the work. Option C, Hemlock is planning to fire the narrator for his incompetence. Option D, sweeping is the most important job in the workshop. So Hemlock's line means the narrator does the work without really noticing or understanding what's happening around him. He's physically there, but he's missing the deeper meaning and truth in the shop and in Hemlock himself. We'll select option A here. Question number 12. The narrator's epiphany is best summarized as the realization that option A, Old Man Hemlock is actually a wealthy miser. Option B, the truth and function can be complex and require insight beyond surface level observation. Option C, he should start his own watch repair business. Option D, the woman was trying to cheat Hemlock. Epiphany means a sudden clear understanding or realization of something important. It's like a light bulb moment when you suddenly see the truth or meaning of something that was confusing before. The narrator's big realization is that truth isn't always obvious. You have to look deeper and understand beyond the surface. The clocks and people can have hidden functions and meanings which aren't always what you see first. So we'll select option B here. Truth and function can be complex and require insight beyond surface level observation. Question number 13. How does the narrator's view of the discordant symphony of clocks change by the end of the story? Option A. It becomes an annoying noise he wishes to escape. Option B. It remains a confusing and unpleasant sound. Option C. It transforms into a sign of the hidden stories and complex mechanisms he now appreciates. Option D. He realizes it is actually a harmonious melody. The discordant symphony means a collection of sounds that are chaotic, conflicting, or unharmonious, yet somehow have a kind of organized or constant quality, like many clocks ticking out of sync in the shop. So by the end, the narrator stops hearing just noise. Instead, the ticking becomes a sign of hidden stories and the mechanisms he has learned to appreciate. What seems chaotic now feels full of meaning. So we'll select option C here. It transforms into a sign of the hidden stories and complex mechanisms in how he now appreciates. Question number 14. The author develops Hemlock's character mainly through option A. Extensive dialogue and personal confessions. Option B. The narrator's direct descriptions of Hemlock's past. Option C. The opinions of the other townspeople. Option D. Hemlock's actions, limited speech, and the narrator's interpretations of them. Hemlock's character is built mainly through his quiet actions, the few things he says, and how the narrator comes to understand him over time. We learned about him by watching him work and seeing the narrator's changing perspectives, not through the lot of talking or backstories from people. So we will select option D here. Hemlock's actions, limited speech, and narrator's interpretations of them just develops the Hemlock's character mainly. Read the following passage and answer the below given question: human activity and earthquakes. When people think of earthquakes in the United States, they tend to think of California, a state known for its frequent seismic activity. In recent years, however, people in the US states of Arkansas, Colorado, Kansas, New York, Oklahoma, and Texas have been feeling the ground shake more often. An increase in oil and gas drilling in these states had led to human induced earthquakes, those resulting from human activity. When wastewater is disposed of during gas and oil drilling, the water is forced deep underground. The resulting buildup of pressure can cause fault lines, cracks in the Earth's crust to shift. According to Mark Peterson, head of the US Geological Survey's Earthquake Hazard Mapping Project, in the past 5 years, the USGS has documented high shaking and damage in areas of these 6 states, mostly from induced earthquakes. What is the main or central idea of the passage? Residents of 6 US states have experienced an increase in earthquake activity in recent years. Option B is an increase in oil and gas drilling has caused a corresponding increase in earthquakes in 6 states. Option C is human interventions doesn't matter at all. Option D is none of the above. So here the main idea is that increased oil and gas drilling has caused more the earthquakes in 6 US states. The passage basically links the human activity of drilling and wastewater disposal directly to the rise in earthquakes. So we will select option B here. Question number 16. Read the following conversation and answer the below given question. Kara, I think we should make a poster. Liam, but a slideshow would be better because we can use the computer. Kara, okay, maybe we can do both, a poster with a QR code that links to our slideshow. What is the result of this conversation? Option A, they have an argument. Option B, they give up on the project. Option C, they combine their ideas to make a better project. Option D, they decide to let the teacher choose. Kara wanted a poster and Lime preferred a slideshow. Instead of arguing or giving up, they got creative. They merged both ideas into one stronger plan, like a poster with a QR code that leads to the slideshow. So we'll select option C here. They combine their ideas to make a better project. Question number 17. When asked about moving to a new city, Lisa says it will be a big adventure. but she spends a lot of time alone looking at old photos of her friends. What is most likely true? Option A, Lisa is only excited about the move. Option B, Lisa is sad about leaving but is trying to be positive. Option C, Lisa is very angry at her parents. And option D is Lisa has already forgotten her old friends. So on the surface, Lisa is calling the move a big adventure to sound brave and upbeat, but the fact is that she keeps looking at old friends' pictures, which tells us that she is really feeling the sadness of leaving and just putting on a brave face. So we'll select option B here. Lisa is sad about leaving but is trying to be positive. Question number 18. Before the race, Jake says, I have been practicing every day. I'm going to win this for sure. What is Jake expressing? Option A, fear. Option B, humility. Option C, confidence. And option D is confusion. So Jake isn't just hoping that he might do well, he's stating clearly, I am going to win this for sure after practicing hard every day. So that's confidence. That is a strong belief in his own ability to succeed. So we'll select option C here. Question number 19. Sarah accidentally bumps into Noah and his books fall. Sarah, oops, sorry about that. Noah, yeah, whatever. What does Noah's response show? Option A, he accepts the apology fully. Option B, he is still upset and is now accepting the apology nicely. Option C, he didn't notice that his books fell. Option D, he wants to help Sarah pick up the books. So Sarah apologizes right away, but Noah's yeah, whatever isn't warm or forgiving. It feels like dismissive and little annoyed, like he's just brushing her off because he's still bothered and he is not truly accepting her apology in a kind way. So we'll select option B here. Question number 20. Read the following conversation and answer the below given question. Dad, should we go to the beach or the zoo this weekend? Mom, well, the weather forecast says it might rain on Saturday. What is mom's point? Option A, she doesn't like the beach or the zoo. Option B, she is changing the subject. Option C, she is giving information that might affect the decision, suggesting the zoo might be better if it rains. Option D, she wants to stay home all weekend. Mom point is giving useful information to help making a decision. If it might train the zoo, which is mostly indoors, could be a better choice rather than the beach. And she is not saying no to either, just considering the weather. So we'll select option C here. Question number 21. Use parallel structure and complete the sentence. Felix, who enjoys problem solving, dash has strong analytical skills, should consider a career in engineering. Option A, maths. Option B, excels at maths. Option C, linguistics. Option D is fiction. The sentence starts with enjoys problem solving. That's an action. So, to sound smooth and balanced, the next part should also be an action, not just a noun. So, we should select excels at math and it fits perfectly, keeping the structure parallel. Question number 22. Complete the text with a better conjunctive adverb. Your library loans are now overdue. You will be charged 50 paisa per day per item up to a maximum charge of 60 rupees each. So here the first part says that your loans are overdue, which is a reason, and the second part says that you will be charged, that is a result. So option A is instead. Instead is used when we have choices. Option B is therefore. Therefore is a perfect word to connect reason and result. Option C is perhaps. Perhaps is used when things are not sure, like there is some uncertainty. Option D is surely. Surely is used to emphasize on something. So out of these four options, option B therefore is the perfect word to connect between the reason and result. So we'll select option B here. Question number 23. Read the following text from a memoir. This excerpt is about the early days of the Jamestown colony, the first permanent English settlement in North America. So a memoir is a personal non-fiction book that focuses on a specific part of someone's life rather than their whole life story. It often shares memories, feelings, and reflections from the author's own experiences, written in a story like way to connect with readers emotionally. Within 10 days, barely 10 of us could either go or even stand. Such extreme weakness and sickness oppressed us. Oppressed means caused severe hardship. And none will marvel at that, if they consider the cause and reason, which was this. While the ship stayed, our food allowance was somewhat improved by a daily portion of biscuit, which the sailors would steal to sell, give, or exchange with us. But when they departed, there remained no place of relief but the shared rations, and that was half a pint of wheat and as much barley, boiled with water for a man a day, and this, having fried some 26 weeks in the ship's hold, contained as many worms as grains. Based on the excerpt, what can you conclude about the early days of the Jamestown colony, the first permanent English settlement in North America? Option A is the settlers were tired of eating only wheat and barley. Option B is the settlers were sick and starving. Option C is the settlers needed medicine to survive. Option D, the settlers were happy for having enough food for all. An excerpt is a short section taken from a longer piece of writing, speech, or media. It is a selected passage chosen to give a sample, highlight a key point, or be analyzed on its own. So the passage describes a desperate situation, like most settlers were too weak to stand, rations were tiny, and they ran out of food after the ships left. So it's quite clear the early Jamestown settlers were severely sick and starving, not just tired or happy with what they had. So we will select option B here. Question number 24, select the passage that has a more frightened tone. Option A is the little boat rocked gently on the water, empty now. He watched it drift. A tiny, lonely shape against the vast means very wide and large, grey lake. In his pocket, his hand closed around a single lost mitten. A mitten is a warm winter glove. So this is not like a scary or frightened tone. Let's see option B. The floorboard in the hall creaked. Not the usual settling sound, but a slow, deliberate step. Deliberate means done on a purpose. Her breath hitched. Hitched means caught in fear. The doorknob began to turn, squeaking softly in the utter dark. Squeaking means a high pitched sound, and utter dark means complete darkness. Option C is the puppy spun in the frantic circle. Frantic means excited and wild, chasing the elusive spot of light from the pond. He pounced, skidded like sled on the tiles, and tumbled into a fluffy, wagging heap, ready to do it all over again. So tumbled means fell playfully, and wagging means moving tail happily. Option D is his words weren't just criticism, they were scalpels, like very sharp knives, cold and sharp. Each one was designed to flay away her confidence, leaving her exposed and raw. He didn't raise his voice, he didn't need to. So here passage B is clearly frightened with a creepy creak, a slowly turning doorknob in the dark, and someone holding their breath in fear. Whereas option A is written in sad tone, option C is written in playful mode, and option D is representing a cruel tone. So option B is the suitable option here. Question number 25, read the following text and answer the below given question. While still on the boat, I read about Hawaiian green sea turtles, their large carapace or top shell, their long lifespan, and their plant diet. Later, when I dropped into the water to snorkel means swim using a breathing tube, I was reminded how startlingly different study and experience can be. Once I entered the water, I saw its shadow in the distance. It was a big one, maybe 1 meter long, waving its wing like limb slowly through the blue. It moved gently in my direction, head outstretched, gliding with the swaying motion of the surf and dipping to gaze on the seagrass lined rocks below. Its giant carapace was suddenly washed in sunlight, an oval of symmetrical plates, each patterned in swirling yellow gold. I floated above at the surface, hoping not to disturb the turtle, the low pulse of waves in my ears. Which author's purpose is suggested by the text? Option A, to describe a snorkeling encounter with a green sea turtle. Option B, to inform readers about the size of green sea turtle. Option C, to explain that sea turtles are very interesting creature. And option D is none of the above. Here the author's main purpose is to describe the snorkeling encounter with the green sea turtle. The passage focuses on the personal experience of seeing the turtle up close, not just giving facts about its size or saying they are interested in general. So we'll select option A here. Question number 26. Compare the student's text with the source. Source: Caroline Williams, a natural label on food means next to nothing. Here is why. Published on cookinglight.com 2016. Here is the situation. Natural on food doesn't mean much. In fact, natural really guarantees little to nothing about a food's quality, ingredients, or how it was grown or raised, meaning the food could or could not contain artificial ingredients, GMOs, chemicals, hormones, and antibiotics. Students' text: just because a food is labeled natural, that doesn't necessarily mean that it is free of antibiotics, chemicals, hormones, GMOs, or artificial ingredients. Is the student's text plagiarized? Option A is no, it is not plagiarized. Option B, yes, because it fails to cite the source. Option C, yes, because it has cited the source. Option D is no, because it has cited the source. So the student's text is plagiarized because it uses the source, exact ideas and wording without giving credit. Even if the words are slightly changed, it's still copying the original author's work without citation. So we will select option B here, yes, because it fails to cite the source. Question number 27. Use context to identify the meaning of a word. Reading the following passage and answer the below given question. Do human beings have the freedom to make their own choices, to act out of their own free will? Free will means power to choose independently. Or are all choices in some manner predetermined by prior causes and physical laws? Predetermined means decided beforehand. In 2007, neuroscientist John Dylan Hines sought to answer the question by conducting an experiment. Volunteer subjects were seated in a brain scanner and were asked to press a button with their left or right index fingers wherever they felt the urge. Hines' team scrutinized the subjects' brain activity in real time, carefully monitoring the results and searching for patterns. Scrutinizing means examined closely. The team discovered that they could observe a pattern of brain activity that would allow them to predict a subject's decision to press a button up to 7 seconds before the subject actually reported making his or her decision. This prediction process was accurately 60% of the time. While some scientists have discounted this study for relying on an oversimplified decision making process, these results have given other scientists hope. Perhaps in the future, scientists will be able to accurately predict the results of even more complicated decision making processes. In the meantime, the question looms: if our choices can be predicted before we even make them, then do we really have the freedom of choice? So the prediction means forecast of future events, and looms means appears large, like threatening. What is the meaning of predetermined as used in the passage? Option A is set in advance. Option B is impossible to know in advance. Option C is approved in advance, and option D is usually known in advance. So the word determined is used here to ask, are our choices already set in advance by earlier causes or brain patterns rather than being truly free in the moment? And in the experiment as well, it was the same, that decision could be predicted seconds before. So it might be predetermined, and predetermined means set in advance. So option A is the correct option here. Question number 28. Complete the sentence with the best relative pronoun. Dane Kamen Dash invented a two-wheeled electric vehicle called Segway, founded the first robotics competition for high school students in 1989. Option A is who. Who is the best choice here because it refers to the person Dean Kamen as the subject of the relative clause. Option B is which is used for things. Option C is he doesn't connect correctly here. And option D is when is used for time. So our correct option is option A. Question number 29. Complete the analogy. Gesture is to expression as cartoon is to dash. Option A is entertain, option B is illustration, option C is photograph, option D is mirror. So here a gesture is a way of expressing something like when we wave our hand to say hello. Similarly, a cartoon is a kind of illustration. It is drawn or animated picture used to tell a story or make a point. So we'll select option B here. Gesture is to expression as cartoon is to illustration. Question number 30. Select the word or phrase that is redundant and can be removed without changing the meaning of the text. Despite the fact that the Hindenburg was filled with 200,000 cubic meters of highly flammable and combustible hydrogen gas, the German airship had a smoking lounge. Option A is 200,000 cubic meters. Option B is German airship. Option C is smoking lounge. Option D is the combustible. So combustible means flammable or catches fire quickly. So if we look at this text, in this text, this phrase and combustible, this is redundant. The reason is the flammable is already there and flammable means catches fire quickly. So that's why we will remove it. And after removing this phrase from the text, the meaning will not be changed. It will become like, despite the fact that the Hindenburg was filled with 200,000 cubic meters of highly flammable hydrogen gas, the German airship had a smoking lounge. So here option D is the correct option. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe my channel.